Gritty Gear Company is a great place to go for clothing that is fun and expressive, but did you know we also do custom orders on demand? We've worked with all types of companies and organizations, from first responders to even a certain radio station. Our team is here to help you look amazing. Our clothing is of the highest quality, and you will love your logo on the finished product. We are a locally owned small business who simply wants you to look great. Find out more at grittygearcompany.com.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. It is Casual Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Congratulations to making it to the end of the week. We're very happy that you all are here with us tonight. And once again, as we know, Casual Friday, it's about anything that's on your mind. If you want to call in, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. If there's something on your mind you want to talk about, paranormal or whatever, we really appreciate it. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. We have question of the week, and we have all sorts of things. And before we get any further, if you want to play along, we can talk about question of the week here real fast. And question of the week this week is, if the government issued a statement and said aliens are real and we're going to be seeing them shortly, but did not comment on their intention, what is your first gut reaction? I'm talking your first gut reaction. And I know a lot of people around here say that they're willing to meet them, but is there any trepidation at all with you about that? So let that permeate in your mind for a little bit. We'll be getting to that a little bit later. So if aliens are coming and we're hearing about it from the government, what's your reaction to it? We'll get to that. Put it in your comments. Give us a call. Let us know what you think, and we'll go from there and whatever. But I want to welcome back who missed Wednesday, who decided that he was too sick to take part in what is the greatest radio show of all time. We got Adam, who's like still coughing over there,
still dying.
Yep. You don't have to prove it. I know you're ill. It's okay. How are you feeling?
First day I've felt human probably since Monday of this week. So yeah, it was kind of nasty. Wednesday and Thursday was just like, no, I'm dozing off at like 6:30 p.m. So I didn't even get a chance to check out Myth or Mystery, which stinks.
No. Well, it's good because we didn't have it on, so it's okay.
Oh, okay, cool. So I didn't miss this week. Excellent.
Now here, Linda says, "Hey Adam, you look better." I'm just curious, and you don't have to answer. How did she see you before when you weren't looking well?
If by some chance she saw me on Wednesday or Thursday, I looked like I was dressing up for Halloween, either as a goth or as just, the sheet ghost.
Well, she lives in California, so that's the only reason why I'm asking.
I astral project.
I guess you did, or she's remote viewing into your house without you knowing. I mean,
could be. Just just don't do it between like 10:30 and midnight. That's Willie's time, if you will, if you reference The Simpsons.
So
the Shining episode.
When you're like, it's Willie's time, I'm like, let's see, look at the time. So we got we let's see, what else do we have going on?
I don't know.
Here?
You're leaving me hanging on a Treehouse of Horror reference. Come on, brother.
And I've been watching a lot of Simpsons again. I'm gonna say something very controversial. I love the later seasons of The Simpsons. I love them. A lot of and I think you do too. You and I are kind of the same when it comes to that sort of thing. But there there are a lot of people are like, well, it stopped being fun after season 6 or whatever, and it's like, sure, if that's what you want, but for me, I there is some great things, but I look at every episode of The Simpsons when I start watching an episode as if no other Simpson episode existed before. So to kind of take that train of a suspense of reality and be like, okay, it's clearly 40 years later, obviously, but let's just pretend that this is like we've been watching this 10-year-old Bart Simpson just for a very short amount of time. If you don't
Hmm.
do that, it's going to be very tough.
No, but the beautiful thing is, though, I mean, they're on season like 36 or something like that,
Yeah.
and there is still so much continuity with
Oh,
that
it's
show. It's
ridiculous amount.
insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very much so. It is pretty insane. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Well, today was good for me, and I hope everyone is excited going into the Labor Day weekend. I just was out in St. Cloud with some friends, and we had some steak tonight. And I can't say nothing wrong about steak. I had maybe a cocktail or two while I was out there, so it
Ooh.
was a good afternoon to kind of get things moving into the Labor Day weekend. And I suppose you're just lucky to like have like applesauce or something, aren't you? I mean, just
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. I will say though, I'm glad I'm feeling better heading into this long weekend because I've got a lot of work to do at my house.
no, yeah.
But I'm glad I'm feeling better, and it's. I think when you hit me up last week, it's like, hey, I want to do the show on Friday. I honestly forgot it was Labor Day weekend.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean that's why I mentioned it to you, because I didn't know if you had plans. There's people like me who don't have a life, really
Mhm.
don't have plans.
Yeah, and I totally had no clue. It's like, oh yeah, oh my goodness, yes. August is ending, isn't it?
It's pretty much done.
Yeah,
We're at the end here for sure.
that's the calendar
Uh,
creeping up.
Now, if anyone's looking for something to do tomorrow, our friend Emily, who calls in on a regular basis, she has an event tomorrow that I want to make sure that people know about. If you have something, if you want to do something and it really helps out small businesses, she's having an event tomorrow called Summer is Dead Makers Market for Misfits. And that's going to be over at Lift Bridge Brewery Company in Stillwater. I'm going to just read what is on the Facebook page, because if you're in the Twin Cities area, this is a great way to buy some really cool stuff and see some really great vendors. The Curio Collective, Minnesota, and Crunchy Soap and Home proudly present the Summer is Dead Makers Market for Misfits at Lift Bridge Brewing Company in Stillwater. Let's bid farewell to summer with a bang. Join us for a thrilling showcase of local Gothic, boho, vintage, creepy old, geeky, and beyond artisan and makers. If it's weird, we want it. Don't miss out on this one of a kind event. The Curio Collective Minnesota, curating Minnesota's premier craft markets and specialty events, showcasing all things Gothic, whimsical, alt, vintage, boho, spiritual, nerdy, odd, retro, different, creepy, kooky, and beyond. If it's weird, we want it. Welcome to the freaky, geeky, weirdo revolution. Imagine that, huh? That's tomorrow. It's over once again over at Lift Bridge Brewery Company in Stillwater, 2 to 7 p.m. I would love to go out there. I haven't decided for sure if I'm able to or not, but that is something I am very much thinking of doing tomorrow. First of all, to support our dear friend Emily, but also, Adam, there's something there called beer, and I think I'd like to give it a try.
I recently just discovered for myself Lift Bridge Brewery. I picked up a mango blonde IPA.
Mm.
Oh my lord.
Yeah,
So
pretty good,
good.
huh?
Very good.
It's very good, if you don't mind me
It
saying
is
so.
extremely good, and I'm not a big fan of blonde beers.
Yeah, and I really do like it. And yeah, that stuff is great. And who knew 20 years ago how this brewery uh, kind of this market for breweries just blew open. I mean, it's incredible, and I love it. I mean, this is really fun, and I don't know if any of you been to the UK. This is very much in my mind like pub culture. we have the bar scene where people go drink and, there's music and stuff. And, the breweries are just laid back, and you're going there and you're playing games and you're having conversations and stuff. And I'm not saying all bars in the US are not like that, but the brewery culture has just been so cool to watch. I love that.
It's been an absolute blast, and you're right. The environment, and to me, I like that environment more than going to a bar.
Yeah, I do too. And plus, everything is unique. And like you said, it's like you're trying flavors that you never really thought that you'd taste in any sort of IPA beer or whatever else, let alone the fact that you have IPAs and whatnot. And what that's done is that's just really pushed open the door for bars to bring in more diverse beers as well.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's been great. It's been great. This week has been UFO, kind of the unofficial UFO week for GhostBox Radio. And I think it's been a success. We're going to do more stuff like that. We've had some great guests this week. And I'm not, like I said to Adam before the show, I'm not including myself in that. We've had some amazing guests, especially Tuesday night.
Tuesday was the best. Did you hear that guy? This Greg dude, he was amazing.
Yeah, we're just going to replay that for a week straight. And but we had Nancy Thames on Monday. We had Paul Blake Smith on Wednesday. And we're just having these great conversations. And then we replayed Donald R. Schmidt about Roswell on Thursday, and honestly, these are great great conversations about aliens and stuff. Now, Linda's written a lot of comments, and they're all very good. But the one I want to highlight, of course, is just Greg was great. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah. So Paul Blake Smith sent me a message the other day, and he's just sent me this weird thing. NBC News, and this was a TikTok video though he sent my way, so I'm not 100% sure we're not just talking pure hoaxing here. NBC News was reporting that it's possible a mothership is on its way to Earth, and it's literally these people are on TikTok, they're commenting about it, and they're playing like pretty much like a camera on screen of Lester Holtz, who is the anchor, and he literally is like, coming up next, we're going to be talking about a mothership that's heading its way towards Earth. And they're all laughing because he's so nonchalant, anchory about it, whereas not, and I
anchory,
guess, yeah. It's just like, well, and up next on NBC Nightly News, you got to think how just so casual is that you just get this sort of the Earth will be obliterated in 72 hours more when we come back. That sort of thing is pretty funny. But then I go to the NBC News website, and I don't hear a word. I don't see anything about that listed on the site at all, not one bit.
See, and this is where it's kind of like, I want to pull out IMDb and see if Lester Holt has a credit in any sci-fi movie and see if that's where that comes from.
Well, and I put it out to our listeners and viewers. Did you hear this at all? And it doesn't have to be through NBC News. It's more of like, did anyone hear any sort of news report? And I have, a lot of different alerts, like Google alerts and stuff, asking, send me stuff about UFOs, UAPs, whatever else. I hadn't seen nothing about that. And so I wrote back to Paul, and I'm like, I'm not seeing anything. So, it could be literally like somebody being able to do AI on a voice, or who knows what. It's and that sucks. I'm going to be honest. That really makes me mad that that's a possibility, because that's just a bad game changer when you can do stuff like that.
Yeah, it really is. Or, even not even AI, just, somebody who does a great Lester Holt impersonation put over, just a clip of him, and whatever he was saying happens to match.
Hello, talent agency? Yes. Do you have a Lester Holtz impersonator? Sorry.
Well, I mean, think about it. Think about SNL all those years ago, where you had, the sketch was Tom Brokaw, and it was Dana Carvey doing like a spot-on Tom Brokaw impression.
Right. Yes.
So, you know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. But I'm curious if anyone else had heard anything like that. Clearly, Adam, you've not heard that either.
If it doesn't cross Reddit when it comes to UFOs, aliens, or UAPs, I usually don't believe it.
And wouldn't you think that would be something that would then?
Yeah, and it was not on Reddit at all. And that's like
Yeah.
my posted Reddit is aliens and UAPs.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know what it is. I don't know. And so, I mean, right now I don't think anything about it. Now, Linda though might have had a premonition over here. She says, "I had dreams about several motherships and tons of smaller ships." So, is it a foreboding to a future? That's what I want to know. I don't know.
Yeah, I look forward to that future.
Well, that does play into our huge question of the week, and that is very simply if the government issued a statement and said aliens are real and we're going to be seeing them shortly, but did not comment on their intention. What is your first gut reaction? And we're going to read some of those coming up in the after the break, but. I mean, a lot of you, including Adam, is like, yeah, this is going to be, I can't wait. Really though? I mean, there's no trepidation. That's going to be my question here, That's going to be what I'm going to challenge you all tonight with that.
I don't know. Is just no. I have no trepidation. In fact, I can't wait till they show up. I really can't. At this juncture, come on. What's next?
maybe they can run the board with you.
That, or maybe if you remember Voyage Home from Star Trek.
I do.
Where Bones McCoy is in the elevator with the woman who's coughing. He rubs this like wand over her, and she's healed from everything. Maybe they have that.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Maybe they can.
I will accept that. Come on.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, I just still hopefully they understand the mouse technology better than Scotty, who just tried to talk into it. So, there is that too. Not Scotty's best moment. Hello, computer. Yeah. All righty. Why don't we go ahead and do this? Let's take our first break. When we come back, let's get to question of the week. I got some interesting UFO stuff I want to talk about, including maps that shows states with the most UFO sightings. And we need to talk about Luis Elizondo. We haven't talked about him or his new book yet. I think that's a kind of something we need to get to tonight. You are listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. And welcome back to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakken with Adam in Eden Prairie at the studio. And thank you very much for joining us tonight. We are doing Casual Friday, which of course means that whatever's on your mind, give us a call. That also means, folks, whatever we're talking about, if you have any opinion on it or anything, just give us a call or put it into the comments. This is the night that we really love to have the interaction with everybody because it's just so much fun. It's kind of a nice, easy way to get into the weekend. And a couple things that we're going to be talking about here. One is question of the week. We're going to get to that shortly here. But also, I do really want to dig into a little bit about Luis Elizondo's new book, Imminent. And let me first say, I have not read it, but I did download it. I bought it and I downloaded it. And anybody who is interested in going and getting that book, please go to ghostboxradio.com, go to Ghostbox Book Club. We have it there. We have Amazon affiliated links that just helps the show. So if you want to get that book, please go and get it through us through the Amazon affiliated link. I would greatly appreciate it. I will put that link into the comments as well, at least to Ghostbox Book Club. And let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look, first of all, at the question of the week. I think that's the way I want to kind of move things forward. Once again, folks, if you want to comment on anything we're talking about, give us a call, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. And the question of the week this week was very simply, if the government issued a statement and said aliens are real and we'll be seeing them shortly but did not comment on their intention, what is your first gut reaction? I know a lot of people say that they're willing to meet them, but is there any trepidation whatsoever? And Adam, you had said, like you said in the last break, come on over.
Yeah, I actually would love for this to actually happen in my lifetime. To be 100% honest with you,
I think
I
it will.
I don't think I wouldn't fear it. You know, there might be that initial, oh my goodness, holy
You know what?
whatever, it's coming. And then I think I would eventually be like, you know what? Yeah, bring it. It might be us from the future for all we know.
I hope not. A lot of people say I hope not personally because I want to experience a completely different culture.
Hmm.
And I don't know. That's my take on it. I know a lot of people are like they're us, coming back and trying to maybe right some wrongs or whatever else. I just hope it's, I want, because we have so many different types of aliens that we know about. I just want the classic gray aliens. I want to see one of them. Is that too much to ask?
See, I would think more like the mantis. That's the one I
Mhm,
think would be the one that would actually come down because it seems like they're a little bit higher up in the hierarchies, if you will, for
mhm, mhm.
the alien species of the star people. So I think them. I think those would be the ones to show up.
And I do believe personally, and do you feel this way as well, Adam, that the Greys are more of, and I don't want to say the bottom per se, but they're more of the clinical sort of taskmasters that they're doing it from what we're seeing, that they seem to be doing the testing. They seem to be very, almost administrative in some ways. Not that they're all related, but it just kind of feels like that to me.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I think that they're more of the foot soldiers, if you will, or the
Yeah, yeah.
the infantry that comes in first. And then there was the mantises, and then there's like these From everything I've read, almost like. Did you ever see like Lord of the Rings? They look like the Orlando Bloom character.
Oh, sure, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I think. So that's why I think the mantises, the ones in the middle, would be the ones
yeah.
who would show up here.
It makes me wonder, and I know you've been ill, but if you have a chance, listen and give a listen to the Paul Blake Smith episode about Eisenhower, and it kind of sounds like that. Perhaps, perhaps that those might be more in tune to what landed that Eisenhower met, opposed to like a Gray.
Hmm.
Um, now, so once again, the question is: if the government issued a statement and said aliens are real and we're going to be seeing them shortly, but did not comment on their intention, what is your first gut reaction? And we got some folks in the comment section that I want to make sure that we get some responses to. Brandy says, if the government announced that aliens were on their way, the first thought I might have a range of shock and disbelief, from fear or excitement. I might immediately wonder about the intentions of these extraterrestrials. Are they coming in peace or do they pose a threat? I might think about how much and how such an event could change life as we know it, prompting questions about safety, communication, and what this could mean for humanity's future. I might even feel a thrill at the possibility of finally, and then finally what? Did she just write too much and it was more than StreamYard could take? If Brandy, if there's more to this, let me know, because I think StreamYard cut you off there with the count. But it's a very good response. I really like that. Very honest.
Yeah, and Brandy is right on. I think I'd go through that range of emotions first before I'm like, yep, you know what? It's here. It's time.
Absolutely. Stacy says, aliens creep me the freak out, but I'm also cautiously intrigued by them. Yeah, no, I get it. And anyone listen, and I really do ask that folks listen to some of the episodes that we did this week. Is very much an eye opener. Monday we talked to Nancy Thames, and she experiences alien communication all the time. She has a very serene look at aliens. So if you are like, really are curious and maybe it gives you anxiety, maybe she's a great person to listen to. Tuesday I talked about my CE5 experiment, which has a kind of a different feel than what Nancy's talking about. But then Wednesday and Thursday, Paul Blake Smith talked about some historical work with Eisenhower, that Eisenhower met aliens. And Thursday, Donald R. Schmidt talking about Roswell. This is some really cool content that might help some people who are curious about some of this as well. Um, let's see here. Linda wants to know if the aliens are the cause of her loss of time. A couple weeks ago, it felt strange when she realized that hours were missing in her life. I've been through that. That's not cool. And Brandy says, answering the old age question: are we alone in the universe? And if we, and you know what, Adam, that just doesn't even cross my mind anymore. That it is that's not even like an option of like, are we alone? It's no way, no way.
No, and I think even the biggest skeptic, just look up at the night sky, especially like get out of the metro area, just stare up at the uninterrupted night sky. And there's no way you can even fathom it's like that we're the only ones there. There's absolutely no way.
And I would guarantee if you can get out of the cities and you can go and see it where the night sky is very clear and watch the skies for at least an hour, then I think you're going to find stuff happening in the sky that you can't explain.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you see these weird things just move across the sky, and it's like, all right, that's a satellite. There's another one. And then all of a sudden, something comes shooting across the opposite direction, twice the speed, and then will like make an abrupt left and go somewhere else. Satellites don't do that. Planes don't do that. Helicopters don't do that.
Well,
What
and
does that?
as I've shown many times, you'll see it on the screen. I saw this
Yes.
with the ships coming out of the portal. I saw this in Wisconsin, and it is, it's just no. And like you said, it was doing stuff. They were about 70 of them that we counted, and they were doing things that we had never seen. Did you see it, Adam? Do you want me to put it up
No,
again?
I saw that, and I've
Okay.
seen that
You've
thing
seen it
a couple
before.
times before. Yeah, and it's just like that's genius. That if that's how they're going from Mars, Mercury, whatever planet, and they may be coming from that we've never heard of or even seen yet, using a wormhole like that would be
Mhm.
amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Jill says, I'm always weary of them, so I won't be so forthcoming, but I'm intrigued in the same way as Fox or how they were in the X-Files, one of my faves, covering so many ideas. Well, I feel like watching some X-Files tonight. My favorite
Oh,
X-Files episode
yeah, that sounds
is
like a good idea.
it's season 2, episode 1, Little Green Men. That is my favorite. I think that's my favorite of all of the X-Files episodes. And yeah, it's just it's really interesting to see where it's at. And there's I would love if because AM 950 has a unique and broad spectrum audience. If anyone's listening and they don't agree with any of this, I would love your viewpoint. And I don't mean that as I'm going to challenge you on it. I just love your viewpoint. Do you think it's absolutely impossible that aliens are out there or that there's other life in the universe? The point of what we do here is to listen to all sides. And, I may not agree, but I respect your opinion on it because everyone should have an opinion on it. My thoughts, my 2 cents at least, you know?
Yeah, and for me, it's like if we are the only intelligent life in this vast universe, how depressing is that?
Mm.
Just to be that alone.
I'm laughing to myself because I could hear me take a drink out of my Mountain Dew bottle on the microphone. And I'm like, people who don't know probably think I'm like taking a swig right now. It's not that bad yet, folks.
It's not the
let's
hard Mountain Dew, folks.
let's see what the third segment brings us.
Jack
So
Daniels bust out.
this is a flask, no. Brandy says that she saw a portal in Maryland yesterday.
Ooh. Pictures?
Yeah.
Send them to the show.
Yeah,
that would
anyone
be
has
neat.
pictures.
That would be cool.
It certainly would be. Joshua said, yes, I'd be nervous if the government wasn't more honest about the intentions of the visit, even though I believe some alien races walk amongst us. And I think that's a whole other topic, to be perfectly honest, because I do think that's very big part of it that we don't even realize that there are we're let alone the people who are star seeds, that we are talking with alien offsprings, but let alone actual aliens walking amongst us.
And the thing is, if they are walking amongst us, I bet they don't even look like us. They're probably something we've categorized as, a mammal or a reptile or something, and we look at it as like everyday life. Oh, look, it's a garden snake. But that garden snake is like, I have more intelligence in this itty bitty brain than you got in your entire, human husk.
So you're saying they're all hanging out outside the front door of KTN FAM 950?
That's why I think Percy has a personality.
That's right. Well, and let alone the wild turkeys. Why are wild turkeys here? It could be aliens just like, yeah, we don't know what kind of animal we should kind of morph into. Let's do wild turkeys and hang around this cinder block building.
But it's like, everybody's like, a lot of folks are thinking, well, if they walk among us, they must look like humans. But that's almost a little egotistical, thinking that, an alien life form is going to look exactly like us with, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, torso, so forth and so on. They could easily look like anything on this planet. They could, that could be the shrimp that you had at, Red Lobster. Could have been an alien.
So, well, there you go. Well, no wonder why they're closing some of those this week.
Endless shrimp, that's the problem.
Yeah, endless alien. Heather says, if the government came out and said that they were real, I'd be calling them liars because it's the government and they lie about everything. Oh, that's interesting. If aliens were real, I'd be leery on meeting them because of all the places to visit. Why Earth? Minus the fact that with everything going on, we got a great real life soap opera going on from all areas. That was my favorite meme back during, and not to make light of COVID, but my favorite meme was the aliens watching in season 2020. Like, oh God, they were hit by a pandemic or whatever that was. The aliens saying that it was really kind of funny. Heather has some really interesting thoughts. I don't necessarily personally agree with that, but I think that's a very interesting take on it.
And I kind of like the idea of them actually kind of watching us as a soap opera.
Well,
that would be kind of neat.
It doesn't disappoint.
No, and especially if they lose reception and need to get the end of Ally McBeal.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, that's and who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
So and then Shar says, I would be cautious, but if they brought tacos, I'd be willing to hear them out. So there is that. Yeah.
Fair.
Playing the form as always.
Then they got to land on a Tuesday.
Right, exactly, because they can't afford them otherwise, or who knows what they put in their tacos. Let's see, what else do we have here? Going through the AM 950 Facebook page is so funny because it seems like I'm the only one that posts on it, to be perfectly honest, apart from the shows. Don says, take me with you. All right. So
I could use a vacation.
Well, I mean, who doesn't want to be Richard Dreyfuss at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind? It's like, you know what? I just want to ride with you all.
Yeah.
You know,
best ending ever of an alien movie.
It really is. It really is, and that's been one that I've been wanting to revisit for some time. It is so cool on every level. It's just like that episode of Little Green Men on X-Files, where it just gives you just a little bit of, and where it's almost in some ways kind of a paranormal sort of story, and then at the end they have that reveal, and I just love it.
And it hits all the right notes. It really does.
Let's see here. Ernie says, which, thank you, Ernie, for not calling in. We do appreciate it. I kind of feel like we're just aliens' pets. Or science projects, I would say, right? I mean, you got to wonder sometimes if we're actually, at the end of the day, there's like some alien child like that lives like, for like a million years before they're like the equivalent of 9 years old or something to us. And we've been to some like science experiment that is really not going that well,
So essentially we'd be living in a Twilight Zone episode.
Right. Exactly.
Right. I'll take that over the simulation conspiracy theory. I'll take being in the Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, I don't like the whole idea of like a glitch in the Matrix sort of thing, because that actually really bums me out.
Yeah, because I was horrible at the role-playing games. That's why I only played the sports games growing
up. Jill says, I don't think it's as glamorous as most imagine. They do experiment, and try to learn all species interplanetary wise. So that's fine. It's so funny. A person on YouTube just says, "Why did they thank the guy for not calling in?" You will understand if Ernie ever does call in.
And don't ever get him talking about Smokey Bear.
Oh my gosh. And to be perfectly honest, he's a good friend. We just like to give it to each other back and forth. It's really kind of fun.
Ernie and Denise are wonderful people.
They are. They truly are. Brandy says, big old ant farm for them to watch. It's so true. Why don't we do this? Please stick with us, folks. We're going to go ahead and take another break. When we come back, let's talk about if anyone has more to say on this or anything else, let us know. Otherwise, we can talk about Luis Elizondo and anything else on your mind. You are listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. And join us Monday for GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken. Due to the Labor Day, we're going to be taking Monday off, and we're going to be doing a best of episode of GhostBox Radio. And our guests, we're going to do three. We're going to put three snippets of interviews together. We're going to have replay interviews with Robert Wilcox as we talked about the Shroud of Turin, Steve Schenken as we talk about the stealing of Lincoln's corpse, or the plot to do so, and then a little bit from a Just Greg episode from January where we talk about angels. And I do want to point out too, Tuesday is going to be a replay as well, where we're going to revisit a conversation with Chester Moore about his book Bigfoot South. Wednesday we're going to be live with Refined Divine coming on and doing one question readings. And then we'll be live again on Friday with Casual Friday next week. So, you know, we're taking a little bit lighter next week, but we're getting into busy season, and we got a lot of stuff going on between really September through early November. So it's going to be pretty crazy, and that's going to be I'm excited for that, Adam. I think that's going to be really good.
Well, you know, starting Sunday is September 1st, which is Halloween Eve for the entire month of September through October 30th.
Yes, it very much is. Very much is.
My favorite stores will start opening again in the spirit of Halloween's, which I want to start a petition. Spirit of Halloween needs to be open all year round for home decor.
Well, I mean, that's true. And I bet they could leave in the Twin Cities, they could leave one open.
Yeah,
you know,
put it in Mall of America. They put everything else in there. Leave a giant Spirit of Halloween in there, and I would literally be there every month picking up stuff.
Absolutely. Brandy agrees with you on that, and I don't think you'd get too many people disagreeing with you on as far as our listenership. The person who had asked about why we did not want Ernie to call in, they said, thanks for addressing. Great show. Thank you for that. We appreciate that very much. I want to talk a little bit about, if no one else has anything if no one else has anything to talk about, I want to talk about Luis Elizondo real fast. I just find it funny, though. We have Linda just put in a comment, be right back, cooking.
All right, we're going to pause.
I really don't know if we would have known if we would have known if you're cooking or not, quite frankly. You didn't have to tell us, but I appreciate the fact that you like us so much that you let us into your life like that. So thank you. I really do appreciate that. Imminent. I don't know. This is the new book by Luis Elizondo. Former Pentagon official doubles down on persistent allegations of secret government UFO activities, with several former senior officials and scientists making a series of alarming and seemingly credible corroborating claims. Congress must now act to separate fact from fiction. Fortunately, a legislative remedy is currently working its way through the Senate. Elizondo's riveting memoir, Imminent, The Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs, underscores the urgency of the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Disclosure Act. The bill, introduced by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Mike Rounds, is arguably the most extraordinary ever introduced in Congress. In Imminent, Elizondo claims to have heard or learned of an ultra-secret government legacy program that possesses UFO materials of non-human origin. Notably, Elizondo terminology is an exact word-for-word match with the language in the UAP Disclosure Act, among several eyebrow-raising provisions The Disclosure Act defines legacy program and non-human intelligence, with the latter referenced no fewer than 24 times throughout the 64-page legislation. Astoundingly, the Senate Majority Leader sponsored legislation that would require the U.S. government to take possession of any and all recovered UFO and biological evidence of non-human intelligence transferred to private defense contractors. Wow. The identical language in the Disclosure Act and Elizondo memoirs makes sense, as Elizondo recounts he, along with other former government officials, scientists, and fighter pilots, briefed the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and Senate Armed Service Committee on UFO Phenomenon. Those briefings spurred a sweeping congressional investigation, which, according to Schumer, uncovered a vast web of individuals and groups with relevant information. There is a lot of information there, and I feel like the more we are hearing people like Luis Elizondo, Grush, all these people, I think we're going to get there. I really do. I think that we're going to be getting more information released. And I think it's coming, sooner than we think, Adam.
I think so too, because with this latest push and Elizondo's book coming out, from what I've been reading, this basically confirms, if you remember back in like 2011, 2012, there was a giant 4chan post. And Elizondo's book is basically just confirming everything that was put online in 2011, 2012 in the 4chan.
And, his name has been bandied around for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've had a number of people come on before and talk about, different aspects of all of this. And I find it very interesting. And let me just take a quick look here real fast. Give me one quick second here. That we had, let's see here, Erica Luke's on. We had her on the day of the congressional hearing back in 2023. And she looked at that at the time as really nothing new, nothing really big that was disclosed there. But at the same time, it's like, it feels like momentum is moving. And I think that a book like Luis Elizondo, actually, even though it's kind of a whistleblower book, if this is what we need to be able to start a fire underneath, the Senate or Congress or whatever, to get more information out, I see that as being a good thing.
And honestly, after last summer and all these House Judiciary Committee meetings, I honestly thought this was going to die somewhere. I really did. But now, the Senate's taking up. It's like, okay, we are getting some actual movement on this. I didn't expect to hear anything for a couple of years, to be 100% honest with you.
You got to wonder what this is. I mean, if once again, this week of shows, with what we've talked about before, what people have been researching on their own, regardless of government, that people are very confident within the next few years that there is going to be a massive shift in what we know and have experienced and what we know about aliens, and that it's going to be a disclosure, or as Nancy Thames calls it, ascension, really, which I don't know if those are terminology I'm personally not too comfortable with at the moment. But
especially the ascension portion.
Well, she is in a very good place to know what she's talking about. I'm not saying she doesn't at all, because she's very, very good at what she's saying. I find it that I think there's just more to it than that, personally.
I honestly think within the next few years, mankind is going to go through another enlightenment period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is going to involve an alien race.
I think it has to. Now, Ernie says they're feeding bits and pieces to desensitize the public. It's very obvious to anyone paying attention. And you're talking about the government, right? And that's kind of, if we're on the same page, Ernie, and let me know if we're not. That's why I'm saying that a book like Luis Elizondo's needs to happen, because without it, you're not going to be able to put a fire under any political group. Okay, you and I are on the same page. Okay, I just want to make sure. Jill says ascension to me is like an awakening, and I do agree that we're headed that way slowly but surely. And I think that's exactly how Nancy is seeing that as well. She made it very clear, and I think you might have been there for that. That it's just like there's gonna be a point that the majority of us are gonna be ready for the information, and to be able to have that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Ernie says, not just our government, but the powers that be worldwide. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, and that's the thing that I personally, and I don't know, Adam, if you have a thought or if you have better information than I do, whether or not, um, how much the rest of the world knows. I mean, I'm assuming I think it'd be very egotistical to be like only the US has ever had alien interaction, but are they dealing with us mainly, or is each country having their own like alien sort of counterculture?
Well, you hear the stories from across the pond in the UK. There's the famous one at the British Air Force Base in Christmas of 1978. Then you've got, the school in South Africa where over 175 children all witness the alien craft landing and grays coming out. And that's been published over and over again. So yeah, it does happen in other places. It's been happening in other places. One of the biggest news sources that I usually find UAP and UFO news is actually on Tel Aviv News. They run a
Okay,
lot of it.
interesting, very interesting. Ernie says that other governments are just further along with disclosure. And that's kind of what you're talking about there. I think a little bit, kind of changing pace just a little bit. Our friend over YouTube says David Politis, hack or on the right track, and I think there is something that we need to do down the line where we talk about those missing 411 uh, programs, and because I don't know. Are you familiar at all, Adam?
A little bit, and yeah, they just disappeared out of nowhere.
I mean, you can't get to them anymore.
No, that's last time I tried to get to any of them, they were behind a paywall, and I did attempt the paywall because it's only like a $1.50, $1.75 or something like that. And you try to go in, and it's like these no longer exist. 404 server error.
Interesting, very interesting. So yeah, we should look into that. Linda says, as more of us get focused on being prepared to live in the fifth dimension, that's when I think that the aliens will coordinate with the populace in general. But we have a more important question for you, Linda, uh, that Ernie wanted to ask you, and that was just very simply, what are you cooking? And if you could let us know, we would greatly appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate your fifth dimension comments, but I think Ernie would like to know what you're cooking. So, and I try to get the answers to people. That's our job as professional radio people, Adam and myself. So,
We're looking for answers and only answers.
the truth is out there. What are you cooking? What's for dinner tonight? My God. I don't know. Once again, I would recommend if you are interested in this stuff, go check out the Eminent book. I have I got it. I'm going to start reading it. I tried to reach out to Luis Elizondo for an interview. Surprisingly, I haven't heard back.
Well,
He made time for Joe Rogan, but not me.
yeah, but we're getting there. We're almost to those numbers. Soon Spotify will give us a bunch of money too.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is we're I'm sure he just hasn't gotten back to us yet. I think that's really all that it comes down to. Let's see here, real fast if I can find it. I don't think I might have lost it already. A lot of comments tonight, so thank you all so very much for all of that. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Let's see. Jill says, so happy to have you talking to the YouTube commenter. Greg has amazing show, radio, podcast with so many great topics to help us expand learning and conversations we share together. So stick around. Thank you so much for saying that. That means a lot.
And we do have breaking news though.
What's that?
we know what Linda made.
Yes, and it is.
Linda has made, it's a secret, LOL, but it has noodles and mushrooms. So there you go, Ernie. We got to the bottom of it for you. Our impeccable journalism paid off.
Yeah, exactly.
My bachelor's degree finally came in handy.
Right, exactly. Thank God for that. As we already at the end of the show, I just want to remind people that don't forget to check out Emily's event, Summer is Dead Maker Market for Misfits. That's going to be over at Liftbridge Brewery Company in Stillwater. That is tomorrow, August 31st, 2 to 7 p.m. We're going to be back Monday with a best of show. Everyone out there, have a safe and wonderful Labor Day weekend, and we'll see you all next week.